Hello and welcome to the new moon in Virgo for September the 14th, 2023. This meditation is being channeled through this energy of this Virgo moon. And I have a little conflict within my own energy that does not align with hurrah, hurrah, hurrah of Mercury is supposedly out of retrograde. I don't feel that. I don't feel that sense of directness. I feel this sense of being okay to be not in a rush, to let kind of the crowded energy run ahead, and to just sit back and just say, it's okay. It's okay. Maybe there's still something back here. Maybe I'm still just collecting my energy. I don't feel the need to rush. I don't feel the need to push out there. And I also can look around and see the perspective of we still have a lot in retrograde. So because one planet moved, Mercury doesn't rule the world. Just saying. And um, and this morning in my own personal journey, I had a realization of what this day really meant, and I don't have to rush out and celebrate that essence of um of rushing to do something that I'm not ready to do. And I feel myself today smiling about that. Like there's a sense of celebration saying, for the first time, I'm not running with the anxiety. I'm not running with the fear. I'm not running with the insecurity that pops up of the old brain, that reptile brain of fight or flight, and that fear response just take off and just go. And it's like, oh, the world says go, I better go. Or, astrology says go, and I should go. And as someone who channels through this energy, and as someone who connects to the divine, and my communicator being the essence of God, whatever God means to you, universe, I can hear the hum. I can hear the voice. I can communicate through that frequency. And and everything is just like, sit your ass back down. You haven't got to go anywhere. And there's still these planets that are still all in retrograde that says there's still time. There is still time. And there was two or three little key elements that came up for me this morning that said, I shall decide. And 2 days ago, I wrote, I am finished. I am finished. Today I wrote, I will do that. I will say yes to this, but I will decide. And that's a huge part of my human design. It's a huge part of my natal chart. It's a huge part of everything that I am, all the way to the soul and through spirit. And I'm telling you this experience because I'm hoping that this experience allows you to really, truly trust in what you're feeling, trust your own experience, to be there with you in what you have happening. The same thing for myself. I don't feel a need to pre-record or preset sit into fall because equinox is not here and I'm not there yet. And so I don't know what the energy will be. And for others, they got to be ahead of the game because that's how their systems work. And that's good. It's good. It's just not for me. And so I, this morning, sat in this energy of getting up at 5:15, and I'm like, oh, I should get up and get things done. And then I just quickly heard, go back to bed. Go back to bed. And when I awakened, it was to the noise of a grader out grading the side road, so the little back alley roads between our homes. And he was clearing the road. And then I heard the street sweepers out. And I'm like, I just seen the street sweepers in my sleep. I'm like, oh, the path is being cleared. And I remember in when spring would come and everyone would hop on their motorcycles when I was riding my motorcycle and get on their bikes the first sign of spring. The snow could still be on the ground. And I would look at all the pebble and the dirt on the road and I'd go, it's not time for me. I don't need to go. I don't need to go on that. I don't need to go in those places. And so, yes, we may have a planet gone, heading into direct. It's not fully direct, heading into direct. We may have, but it's not there. It's not all the way there. It is still retrograding to some degree. You also have 6 planets that are still in retrograde, and those planets may be influencing you in your natal chart more than Mercury was. And so really truly knowing you and trusting you. And so when I woke up and I noticed the roads and how they went and these clears and how this path is being cleared, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to sit back here and just wait for the roads to be cleared. And these paths will be already beaten down. I don't want to do that. I don't want to get out there and be the warrior to that kind of energy anymore. I don't want to be slinging the axe. I don't want to be fighting the fights. I don't want to do those things no more. I've been there. I've beaten down the paths. I've done those things. I'm going to wait and I'm going to walk my way and I'll walk my path and I'm going to decide. And in that experience, what I found this morning was by spending time with that, I also realized that I was breaking that I was dissolving the rings to some of the past stories and to some of the past people. But in clearing that, it allows me to be able to see all of the joy. And I found myself back, and I'm 52, I found myself back in my experiences of being 20 and 21. That was my ages where I found myself going. And then to the story of the motorcycle, I was 16 when I first got my first motorcycle. And who inspired me to ride a bike was never anyone that was here in my presence. It wasn't friends, it wasn't a boyfriend, it was nothing like that. It was Leather Tuscadera. And I'm just going to say that it was Leather Tuscadera. And she was Happy Days. And when she walked into the room, she commanded the room. And I'm just like, and I had already been driving one of those little tiny 50 Hondas. Like I knew my whole life I wanted to ride a bike. And it was about the freedom. I hate riding. And I'm going to say it's a strong word, but I strongly dislike riding bicycle. Not my thing. Just not my thing. I can do it. I can do it well. Don't want to do it. But a motorcycle, always. But when I seen Leather Tuscadera on Happy Days, and I just watched Sweet Beautiful Little Joni, and I watched all these characters come in and already break the way of the show. The show was already working, it was already going, it was already there, and all these characters had already made their name. But after the show was created, in walked Leather Tuscadera. And she walked in and she commanded the room, and she was authentically, uniquely different in her own way. Like she was wearing her and her identity. And 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I got to see Suzi Quatro in concert, and she's still rocking that cat suit, that leather cat suit. Like she's still rocking a cat suit. But as Suzi Quatro. And I realized she was a character. I realized who she was playing a role. And I've always realized that. I never seen these people and thought that's who they are. But seeing her as a rocker and a singer and a band and all of those things, I really got to see something that made me make sense to myself. And that was my strong sense of even my masculine energy, but my strong, powerful leadership roles. And at 20 and 21, I found myself losing those parts of myself. And a few months ago, I wrote an article. I wrote an article in the Elephant Journal. And it was my first article. I'd shared an article. I'd already put it in my blog. I shared it over to Elephant Journal, and it got shared on Instagram. And I was so freaking proud of it. So proud of that accomplishment. It's taken me a long time to step into those places that many have already beaten roads. Many have already done these things, and to walk into it. And when my video was shared, or when it was shared on Instagram, the picture of it was a picture of me feeling like my absolute best. And I had a kind of a grayish kind of, it was back when we were kind of coloring our hairs, toning it into grays. And this one person decided to talk about me on there as if I never existed, as if I wouldn't see it. And it was a comment about why would they choose somebody who was 60 when it's talking about somebody who's 50. And then somebody else told her she was rude, and she said back to them, like, well, I'm that age and I don't look like that. Well, it's perception. And you see what you want to see. And your own reflection sometimes leaves you a little bit delusional. and so um I allowed that to get to me for a little bit. But it got to the point of where I found myself having to dig back of why I let people and why I allowed people's words to get to me. And so this retrograde has allowed me to really look at that and just say, stay with this until you recognize, because at 20 and 21, there was women who did the same thing to me. And one was about the fat girl story. Why would somebody choose somebody who's fat like her when they could have somebody who's skinny like me? I realize that these things play out. And when I look back at Susie Quattro, Leather Tuscadera of Happy Days, I remember now seeing the whispers of, look at her, look how she's dressed, look who she is. But then also the admiration for this woman. And, and so this is a backhanded compliment, and you hear it all the time. And I used to always hear, I love what you're wearing. I wish I could wear it, but I'm not that brave to wear something that different. And I'm like, that's kind of a backhanded compliment. Don't use it, okay, ladies? Because it kind of, you don't know how much it takes sometimes to step into your courage, to step into your strength, and to trust your spirit to guide you, to trust your spirit to take you to the places that you need to go as your true self, knowing that it's not going to blend in, knowing that it's not going to be like somebody else, knowing that you're not going to be, you're not going to be someone else. And so when you can sit back and really truly step into that energy, that's when your feet get on the ground. And that's when you breathe in and you're like, okay, I know how this goes. I know the insecurities. I know the fears. I know the envy. I know the jealousy. I recognize those masks. I have seen those masks my whole life. But spirit is giving me the courage and the sense to be my authentic self and to wear me publicly. And so, of course, it has come with a few more wrinkles than life itself. And so wearing me publicly, wearing me wherever I go. And so this energy and being back on this other side of the line just says, if I go out into that crowd, I'm just going to be like the rest of the crowd. And if I stay back here and I wait, that when I walk, I'll be seen, not in the crowd, but I will be seen. And it's the fact that I can see me. It's the fact that the divine sees that I have grown in patience. I have learned how to have patience with myself. I've also learned to have compassion for the world that is very uncompassionate and very, I don't even know if that's a word, not very compassionate and very unkind. And that the world will always be filled with people waiting to knock you down. And that's just going to be life. And so these are narratives and stories that were coming up in my experience today. I don't know what's coming up in yours, but this new moon is about setting an intention. And I invite you today to set an intention that really, truly aligns to you not letting yourself become the angst and the anxiety of feeling like you need to step over the line, to get into the race, to get into the game, or to become something, or to get into the fad, or to get on the next train of what's in and what's stylish or what's to be, and not feel that need to rush in, but feel that need to step into you and setting that intention. And with that, it starts to erase for you. It removes those narratives and those stories that has kept you back. And that's where your empowerment is. And your sense of empowerment that empowers you, that inspires you, is that that we allow spirit to dress us, to take us to places. And I just experienced it during my own wedding. I'm like, I wasn't going to look that way. I wasn't going to wear that dress. I wasn't going to do this. I wasn't going to have big hair. I wasn't going to have my cleavage popped up. I wasn't going to wear a long dress. I wasn't going to wear a wedding dress that was just made me stand out. I was going to keep it simple. And yet it wasn't. It was extravagant. It was elegant, but it was kick-ass goddess energy. And I'm like, oh, so spirit, you're going to make me do this today. And this is our own spirit. This is our higher self. This is the essence of, this is your truth. And so your truth gives you courage. Your truest self will give you courage to do the things and push you into things that you don't even know, but it's not by rushing out. It's by just allowing it to unfold, allowing it to happen. And so here we are today. What intention are you going to set today for you? You don't need to know right now. We're just going to put this out there. What do you value the most about you? Who are you when you are in your happiest? When you are being your happiest self, who are you? And who and what is happening when you are not? And so this meditation, I invite you to close your eyes. And to all of my goddesses out there, to all of my everyday goddesses, if you are the absolute bookworm nerd and that's your happiest, rock her. If you are the rock star, rock her. If you are the stripper and you're there by choice, rock her. If she's getting you through, if that's getting you into university and getting your doctorate's degree without debt, rock it. Be who and what you need to be. This is your life. And your life is to be lived by your truth. And if it's not your truth living it, it is not your life. Remember that. If it's not your truth living it, it is not your life. With that, I invite you to take a deep breath and breathe into you with pride. We're back, girl. We're not sucking it in. We're not sucking it up. We're pulling in the power. We're breathing into the power. Breathe into you. And as you breathe that into you, I'm going to ask you to just let it out. Let out everything, every story that said you had to suck it up, that you had to rush, that you had to get over it, that you couldn't be you, and just let it go. They're not your thoughts. They're not your truth. They're somebody else's. Now I invite you to just close your eyes if you so choose, leave them open if you so choose. If you're driving, do not close your eyes. Do not get deep into this meditation. Do not get lost in my voice. With your eyes gently closed, I invite you to feel this sense of a weight. And this is not a heaviness weight, it's just a gentle weight, as if the angels are just putting their little fingers on your eyes and just going, let us show you. Look through our eyes. Look through our eyes. And as they then take their little finger and they put on your mouth, and it's just a little shh. The thoughts are going to come. The thoughts are going to go. Don't communicate with the thoughts. You don't need to. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to justify it. You don't need to do nothing. In your silence, you will hear, see, feel everything you need in this moment. And as you take that breath in again and breathe out, I invite you to notice between the eyes, between the eyebrows, that there's a little purple light starting to appear. It may be a lighter purple, it may be darker purple, maybe more iridescent-y, your color, your purple. Whatever shade is coming to you, whether you feel it, sense it, hear it, or just know it, it's just there. And if you none of it, just you got purple. Feel that purple. See that purple. Sense that purple. Experience that purple. You may be very kinesthetic. Feel that purple. And as it starts to spin, it's a vortex of this purple energy that's spinning clockwise. And as it starts to spin, bringing your awareness to your eyes and letting your eyeballs, with your eyes still closed, allowing your eyeballs to just drop down Gently, as if, and then just swaying back and forth. Feel your eyeballs as if they're swaying back and forth like a pendulum. Now feel them lift all the way up. Let your eyeballs with your eyelids closed lift all the way up like a pendulum, back and forth again, swaying back and forth, right to the left, and then back to the center, dropping. Let your eyeballs just drop down. And as they bounce a little, they're going to come right back to center. And your eyes are fully closed. Now this purple vortex energy is opening up the third eye chakra. And as we now travel in, as if we're collapsing into this purple is taking us in through the very center and into the third eye. And with this, you're going to see the appearance of an eye. And this eye has purple flames in it. And as it blinks, just sense, feel, know, experience it. And its eye is like a mirror. The journey through to a self you have not yet met. Or you may have buried her, him, whoever you are, whatever you are, to yourself, however you identify. Take no words personally. And now as we get closer to this eye, notice that the eye is drawing you in as if it's magnetic. And as it's drawing you in, be aware of your feet. And as the eye closes, a portal closes behind you. And you are deep within. You are deep within your truth, yourself. The self you have not fully experienced, not realized is a part of you. And as now through the crown, the very top of your head, comes in a spotlight of energy, a white light that illuminates and lights up the way. And as this white and this purple begin to blend, the divine eye lights up a path and a pathway. You are invited to walk this path, one foot in front of the other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you stop and pause, notice directly ahead of you is a scene, as if you've come to a point of where you are meeting your higher self, your future self, your self that is an extension of you. And as this image, mirage, appears, notice it may be a shape, a form. It may be words. It may be just color. But as it's coming towards you, feel the love. Feel the movement. Notice that it is invoking a feeling within you of knowing, of certainty, of unconditional love. That is here to empower you, here to remind you, here to be with you. And as it now gets closer and closer, feel yourself moving towards this. Feel you coming together with this energy. maybe a version of you. And as you do come together, notice that you start to merge. And this higher self knows nothing of the human's programming, conditioning, as if it needs to listen to it. It doesn't. It knows divine truth, divine love, divine kindness and compassion. And as you feel this working through you, becoming you, that this is the essence of your soul, your spirit, your higher self, all blending, merging. And as we stand right here, there's a line that appears. And as this line appears, notice that it has a shimmer, a sparkle. And we're going to stand right here on this side of the line. On the other side of the line, they're going to show you a movie of life, of where you have been, of times when you have tried to be something you're not, when you got caught up in the fears of feeling like you're going to be left out, be forgotten, not be heard, not understood, whatever that may be. Notice how in those experiences you shift, you change. And notice the sense of how false confidence is created, false strength, called defensiveness, protection. And we really want to honor those versions of you with such love for trying her best, his best, their best, whatever it is for you. And notice you may hear noise. You may hear other people's thoughts, opinions. You may hear the whispers. You may notice where you may have shrunk. And then notice all of the people around who may be achieving, doing well, that maybe you were envious of. Maybe you compared yourself to. Maybe even unintentionally or intentionally jealous of. Or those people you may have tried to mimic and mock, whatever it may be. We have it all in us. We have it all. We're capable. Yes, we are. Don't say we're not. We all are. Feel it. It just all shows up in different attitudes in different ways. Notice the rebel. Notice the good girl. Notice the shy one. Notice the innocent. Notice everything. Just notice. It's behavioral patterns. It's the action we take beyond that. And as this all now becomes clearly the past, as we can see, it's clearly the past. The divine sight now clears this and says, this is the vision that your eyes have told you, that your memories have held on to. And it's this beautiful light, this beautiful green and pink healing light step in, breezing through as if it's a divine eraser that just says, these were for you to see. Now let me show you the truth. And as you now step over the line, feel yourself as if you go over the line. Feel this higher self emerging. Feel your shoulders come up. Feel yourself, notice yourself, be aware of yourself, step into the experience. Let yourself be bold here. No rush, just let yourself be bold. And that may mean just sitting down on the ground, legs crossed, hanging on the edge of a seat, a chair, swinging your legs, whatever it may be. And now the eye is going to show you truth. It's going to show you when, even when you were sad, you stepped up and stepped out anyway. Even though you knew you may have been mimicked and mocked, you moved forward anyway. Even though you knew it was going to be challenging, you did it anyway. Even though you knew everyone was going somewhere else and you chose not to go. You don't know why, even though you felt sad, even though you felt left out, you said yes to you. These are the moments we're going to start collecting. Notice now that appearing is all of these moments, all of where you were in your power, all of where you were empowered, all of where your real courage sat, all of where you chose not to be in the defensive, all of where you chose not to explain yourself, justify, let them think, let them believe, whatever it may be, when you chose to walk towards you and not to another, when you didn't feel the need to rush. Breathe it all in. Breathe it all in. See it all coming in and feel yourself being lit up. Feel this energy lighting you up, inspiring you. This would be the same as Leather Tuscadero walking into the room in a movie. Now your higher self is stepping up and out of you and showing you, revealing to her, revealing to you a new truth. This is your future self. This is the you you're more of. This is the you that works with spirit, that has your true confidence, your true courage, your virtuous self. Notice her movement. Notice how her, he, she, we, they, whatever it may be, notice how they're moving. Feel the movement. Just know the movement. The eye is showing you a truth that is beyond that of your memories now. And as she steps into the memories of all the joy and the good things, she walks past them all because she can't be bothered even with those. And she turns around and she clears those with all those little sparks of hope and faith and encouragement that are now within you. She asks of you to have the courage to take one more step, to walk towards her, to walk towards you, to walk towards your truth. There is no rush. Doesn't have to be now, but just the knowing what within this higher self do you know you have been living with, and as what have you been denying yourself? And as you feel this movement happening, this is a movement, a revolution that helps resolve, heal, clear, and resolve. Release any old energy. But remembering that this self has been with you and guiding you in times of where you may have felt the pain, you may have felt the criticism, the judgment, but you walked anyway. That's your truth. And if she now comes back, or you come to her, you enter that space, she invites you to feel this feeling of empowerment. Feel the feeling of joy, feel the feeling of radiance, whatever it may be, of communion, of belonging, of whatever it is, whatever's coming to you, just let it come to you. And now as this comes to you, she shows you an opening. As she moves aside, there's an opening. And right there are your spirit guides. And your spirit guides are standing in council, waiting to be connected to you, to be fully connected to you, to your higher self, to your wisdom, and less to the old stories, fears, insecurities, less responsive and reactive to what you thought you had to be and do. And they're asking of you right here to give them your intention. What is your intentions? What do you intend to do, to be? What intentions do you set for yourself? And your intention might be to do nothing. That's okay. Whatever it is, be honest. They're seeking you to be honest with yourself. Because your greatest empowerment is in truth. When we are in truth, we trust. When we keep when we keep thinking we're holding on to these secrets, not telling ourselves our truth, hiding our truth, that's where our sense of unhealthy self gets in. When we feel the need that we need to know ahead of time how the weather will be before we dress up for the day, we're ahead of ourselves. But we just trust ourselves. Just trust. You set that intention, your guide takes this little scroll that you have just written it on, or they write it on for you, whichever it is, and they roll it up. And they send it out as a message that will come back when it has been blessed by the divine, when it has been transmuted into absolute love and wisdom for you. When it's the tap on the shoulder, the little nudge, the opening of the eye that you can see with your eyes wide open sometimes. Oh, I see this. That's not what I'm not looking in the right place. I'm not looking at the right people, whatever it may be. It'll just come. And as they send it off, they now stand back in front and they inspire you to go back with what you have experienced, what you have learned. And as you now walk back towards that higher self, you feel that sense of familiarity, connection, virtuous self, divine self. This walks us into our divine, beautiful future, our divine purpose. And that is to be ourselves, to be authentically ourselves. Be nothing more, be nothing less. You are what the world is waiting for. Your real truth. What you are here to do, who you are here to be. Not about the status. It's about that happiness. It's about that joy. It's about remembering what happens to you when you are not acting, living from that truth. And as your higher self walks you back over the lines, these lines disappear. And as you turn back and you look and there is no line, they remind you that there's a fine line between your choices, between who decides in your choices. Is it the unhealthy ego or is it the higher self? Who decides? Do we walk through the mud? Or do we walk across the beautiful cleared space? And with that, they give you a smile. And this eye portal energy opens back up. And as you step out and you step in, you step outside, and the eye now becomes a mirror reflection to you that you are looking into your true eye, your true truth. Take a look at yourself. If you could see what we could see, you would never doubt yourself again. Take a good look and see what we see. See the beauty. See the awe. See the love. See the light. And as we bring back, as you turn again and the purple becomes your guide back, as the white light now enters back up and out of the ground, all of this now becomes darkness behind you, but you can see in the dark. You can see the lightness. This beautiful purple guides you back. As you feel the eyes, you feel your own human eyes start moving back and forth with your eyes still closed. As your own lenses has been cleaned, cleared, cleansed for you to be able to see brighter, clearer, broader perspectives, whatever it may be. As you enter back out through the purple, entering back in through your own body, into your own universe, into your own space. Feel yourself coming back into your body, moving around in your own body, being active in your own body. Feel your fingers and your toes, and feel those little fingers lift off the mouth and off the eyes. Feel your eyes open. Feel your lips open a little bit and let out a little. Just let it out. Oh, and just breathe. As your eyes open, take a look around. Notice your surroundings. Notice how much space you take up. Notice that you belong right here with you, and that you are more than enough. You don't have to rush anywhere, because as long as you stay with you, you're on the right path. I send you much love, and much gratitude and appreciation for being here. I'll appreciate you, and I hope you appreciate you as well. Many blessings. Namaste. Amen. Whatever your little moment is for you, whatever your little goodbye for now may be. Much, much love. And we will talk again soon. Bye-bye.